All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into a fascinating ultra-luxury property, Kapas Heights. We're going to really dig into the numbers to figure out what makes a place like this tick, who it's actually for, and, what its real value is. Because let me tell you, the story the data tells is probably not what you're expecting. So it really all boils down to this one big question. When you look at a place like Kapas Heights, are you really looking at a multi-million-dollar home? Or is it something else entirely, like a vault in the sky built to protect wealth? And as you'll see, the answer is, well, it's complicated. Okay, so first things first, let's just lay out the basic data. We're talking about a prime freehold property in Bangsar, coming in at a price of over 2,000 ringgit per square foot. But now, look at that last number. The estimated yield is a shockingly low 2 to 2.5%. And trust me, that little number right there, that's the key to understanding everything about this place. So, there's actually a specific term for this kind of property, a defensive luxury asset. The best way to think about it is less like a regular investment property and more like, say, a piece of fine art or a vintage Ferrari. Its whole reason for being isn't about making you money month to month. Nope, it's about preserving wealth and, let's be honest, being a major status symbol. It's like a physical anchor for a massive portfolio. So, if the cash flow is so bad, why would anyone want it? What's the big deal? Well, that brings us to its allure. We're talking about an asset that is, for all intents and purposes, irreplaceable. Its value is really built on three core pillars of prestige. First, you've got this ultra-low density in a ridiculously prime location. I mean, it doesn't get much better. Second, it's on freehold land. And you know what they say, they're not making any more of it. And finally, every single unit is massive with its own private lobby. That combination, it basically makes it bulletproof to what's happening in the rest of the condo market. 33. Just let that sink in for a second. "33. Just let that sink in for a second. That's it. That's the total number of homes in this entire place. We're not just talking low densities here. This is extreme scarcity. It's been engineered from the ground up to be an exclusive club that, well, most people simply can't get into. And that kind of scarcity, well, it pretty much tells you exactly who this is for, right? This isn't for your typical property investor or even someone who's just, doing well. No way. This is aimed squarely at the ultra-high net worth crowd and the highest level expats. These are people who aren't thinking about rental returns. They're thinking about privacy and what a famous address says about them. Okay, but prestige always comes with a price tag, right? For all of these amazing upsides, you gotta look at the other side of the coin. And that's where we get to the reality check, the price of all this prestige. And this chart just lays out the central conflict perfectly. On the one hand, you have this massive capital value. The thing is worth a fortune. But on the other hand, the rental yield, the actual cash it brings in, it's tiny. It's the classic asset-rich, cash-poor situation. Except here, it's completely intentional. Yeah, let's just look at that number again. 2 to 2.5%. The source material has this great, very formal phrase for it, an inefficient capital deployment. That's basically a fancy, polite way of saying the rental income is, frankly, awful for the amount of money you're pouring into it. And just to make sure we're all on the same page here, when we talk about rental yield, we're basically asking, how hard is your money working for you every month? A high yield is great, more cash in your pocket. A low yield, not so much. And Kapas Heights, it's way, way down at the bottom of that scale. So what's the takeaway from all this? The analysis really nails it with this quote. The return you're getting here isn't something you can take to the bank. It's almost entirely psychological. It's the prestige, the peace of mind, the privacy. You're not buying a cash flow machine. You're buying a feeling. But hang on, the trade-offs aren't just about the money. There's another huge reality check, something you'd have to deal with every single day, the gridlock. And this right here is the classic KL paradox, isn't it? The promise is amazing. You've got direct access to all the major highways, Sprint, NPE, Federal, you name it. But the reality? Those highways dump you right into the jaws of the city's worst traffic jams. We're talking about Jalan Maraf and Jalan Bangsar, absolute bottlenecks. And what makes that traffic problem even worse is that you are completely 100% dependent on your car. Public transport? Forget about it. The source points out it's a long, sweaty, uphill hike to get to an LRT or MRT station. So for everything, groceries, taking the kids to school, going out, you have absolutely no choice but to get in your car and sit in that traffic. Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got the incredible prestige, but also the tough financial numbers and the daily traffic nightmare. When you mix all that up, you get a really, really clear picture of who the final owner is. And this table just makes it crystal clear. Look, this isn't about saying the property is good or bad. It's all about the right tool for the right job, right? If you're an investor chasing rental income, this is a terrible choice. Just walk away. But if you're an ultra-wealthy owner-occupier who cares about privacy, prestige, and just keeping your wealth safe, it's a perfect time. So really, the final verdict from the source is that this place was designed for one very specific type of person. We're talking about someone who is completely cash-rich, who couldn't care less about rental income. Because for them, the real prize is that Bangsar address and the promise of total privacy. That's worth way more to them than a monthly check. And that really leaves us with a bigger, more philosophical question, doesn't it? A property like Kapas Heights makes you think about what luxury even means at this level. When money is no object, what's the ultimate prize? Is it more profit? Or is it buying something that money supposedly can't buy? Your privacy. That's something to chew on.